All right, welcome back to ThrowBLKs on the Black Print Radio Network. I am J5 here once again, and for the first time on this show, joined by Pafif. What's good, Pafif?
As promised.
As promised, he's here.
Starfish navigation.
I had to, and again, you're wearing the LA. We can't do the New York.
Listen,
hats.
I couldn't. I'll take a walk a few blocks down to the LA River and take some drinks out of it if you want me to, but I'm not putting on a New York hat. I'm sorry to Mark, who's wearing one behind the scenes right now.
I can't do it. Also, MC behind the camera, he is wearing his New York hat.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? To talk Fred Durst, you got to be Fred Durst, you know?
Do you feel Fred Durst-ish? I don't think you feel Fred. You kind of look like him a little bit.
I gotta be real Fred Durst. Hold on. Can I jump into here real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, to be Fred Durst-ish, you gotta kind of...
Yeah, you gotta... backward. Yeah, it's gotta be backwards. It's gotta be backwards. There we go.
All right.
We on our Fred Durst shit today. We in Jacksonville. We're in Jacksonville today, nigga. Yeah. Well, I had to get Pat here because I feel like it's only right to talk about this album by having an actual white person in the building. I think that's important to do. Obviously, you're a couple years younger than me. So
that's going to be crucial for talking about this album.
Yes, because I feel as though I need to have it straight from, the lion's mouth. You know what I mean?
This also is going to be something where, like our age difference right now doesn't matter at all.
Yeah,
does. The further back you go, it's like we probably had completely different experiences with this album.
100%. And obviously the album we're talking about this week is Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water. If you guys have listened to us or have been listening to us for the past couple of years, I actually played a song from this album back during the Black Print Radio days. I played, we did like a, what was the theme of that week, MC?
It was Guilty Pleasures.
Guilty Pleasures.
Okay.
I'm going to be real, and I think I introduced it like this. I was like, this ain't my guilty pleasure. This is literally shit that I listen to on the regular. Like, I listen to it.
That's the thing. Is like, I feel like even since that show or that recording, like the concept of like a guilty pleasure has like kind of gone away a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially because this genre of new metal, whatever you want to call it, is like arguably just as popular, if not more popular than it. Well, it's not more popular than it was then, but it's back.
But we'll talk about that as it goes on. And I think we're in an interesting era. And me and you've talked about this on text already, just in terms of rock music in general, where it's at, how it's coming back, what it's purported as, what it looks like, what it sounds like, and we're talking about, in my opinion, the band we're talking about, one of the most divisive bands of all time. In one of the most divisive musical eras of all time, in new metal, rap, rock, whatever you want to call it, but it reached across the bow to the hood, to where I was at, to where what was going on.
There are people who met who never would have met, because not just of, I would say, because of Limp Bizkit, Korn, and Slipknot. Those three, and then if you were like in honors classes, Linkin Park.
Linkin Park, and just think about it. The seismic shift of Linkin Park is literally months after.
Yeah.
Like literally 2001, right at the beginning, and it happened. So
seismic is almost an understatement because like as big as the Limp Bizkit and Slipknot, not Metallica, Korn, as big as they all were, Linkin Park's like transcendence is astonishing, even compared to those other three acts.
And I compare it to I did a lot of research for this episode. I think if Mark's seen my Spotify for the past month, he's seen what I've been listening to. I've been listening to everything. I've been listening to newer rock like Sleep Token. I've been listening to older rock.
We're going to talk about Sleep Token a little bit.
We are, as we get into.
We're going to talk about Sleep Token.
Like I've been getting into 21 Pilots, who are also, I think it's them and Sleep Token are like the two biggest rock bands in the fucking world.
Ghost too.
And Ghost, like those are like the top three.
Of like their, you have to start getting into like, of, which era and what generations of people are in. But like there are, especially globally, there are arena rock bands still really, really performing.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of it is trickled down from what we got in 2000, which is what I think is the peak now.
And now, sorry to cut you off, but just like one of the, I'm actually like like 5 years ago, I would have been way less qualified to be on this episode. But especially, no, truly. But especially since I want to say the lockdown, I'd always kind of wanted to get more into metal for my whole life.
Really?
And, like now, and I was always just kind of like afraid of it.
That's so funny that a white person was afraid of metal.
Well, I just didn't like.
Why did I invite you in here?
Okay, well, here's the thing. So I was I know I'm from the suburbs, but I was also I'm the oldest kid in my family.
Right.
So I was like, it was kind of just like a dice roll with like what I was gonna like and like what it was gonna trickle down to the rest of my family.
But it's funny because like I don't mean this in a derogatory.
No.
You look at people like MGK, Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
And you guys are not that far away.
No, listen, I like MGK.
Super into hip hop, so I should have known. That probably would have been kind of your North Star when you were growing up.
I just ended up like when I really started getting into music or whatever, like I got into Eminem instead of Limp Bizkit.
Right.
And like then because of that, I got into G Unit. And like that was like just the, choose your own adventure that I went down. But I could have easily been actually more likely trying to go dreads by listening to Korn. But no, I think that like this, even though it is what I was going to say when I cut you off and then got sidetracked anyway, this, like, even though it's kind of regarded as divisive and as not just in the genre, but just in music in general, I think now, especially because, everybody talking about it is our age or older, it's not like spoken about as some outlier within the metal genre. Right. It's spoken about more the same way that like when Crank That was coming out, people were like, this sucks, this is bullshit,
that's the comparison.
I hate this. And now it's like, what do you mean you hate that? That's just like a major part of what rap was for like a few years. Like, you can't hate that. That's just something that existed.
And that's what I'm saying. Like in that, it's good that you brought the snap era because hair metal was that.
Yeah.
Grunge was that. Nu metal was looked at with such disdain back in the 2000s.
Auto-tune.
All of these things looked at in disdain. And I think a lot of people, they don't think that there is like a visceral, vehement hate in the rock community for things. There absolutely is.
Oh, yeah.
To a point where like people hated Korn for a long time for what they represented or what they did or their sellouts or whatever. Yeah. Limp Bizkit, in a way, like they willfully, gleefully sold out.
Oh yeah,
let's just be clear. Totally. They gleefully sold out. There's moments on this album that are gleeful sellout moments.
The first two songs are basically covers.
Exactly, like they are gleeful in their selloutness, and they're okay with it.
But that's what makes it good.
Yeah,
like that's and I would say even like for the same reason that I don't mean to equate everything I'm about to say with selling out, but they're like, even though it's goofy or like at points like really turn of the millennium, like I don't know, just like crass humor or whatever, like it is so like it's earnest.
Yeah.
And that's in the same way that I've liked wrestling more and more in the last 10 years. Right. Because it's like this is an actual, even when it's goofy at points, it's like it is asking you to buy into it and like being fully itself.
But you've also found your way back to it. You found your way to it. And I think that was a large part of why, and I want to start in 1997 because that's where a lot of the things started here. Like as a kid, my background, like I grew up I had a Biggie household. We was, you know what I'm saying? Like my sister loved Biggie. I remember when he passed away, she was on our kitchen floor crying, bro. Like I will always remember that shit. She loved Aaliyah. She loved all that. Very East Coast, but Virginia is kind of right on that cusp. Yeah. So like as a kid, I didn't really know where I was gonna lean at in terms of music. Like I loved like video games and cartoons. I loved the Sonic music. Yeah, like, I loved all of that stuff.
Like so much of my music taste, truly until like honestly, like 2008 was like songs from movies that I like made into a playlist.
One of my first albums ever that I ever owned was The Mask. Yeah, Jim Carrey's The Mask, and that had, I think it had SWV on there. Okay, it had a couple other people on there, but like Space Jam soundtrack was also a huge part of my childhood. Yep, like the Batman and Forever,
Men in Black soundtrack,
Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin soundtrack. I loved like movie music at the time. That was that was kind of like my North Star. I was like, because I watched a lot of movies when I was a kid. Yeah, and so like once again, I leaned either way, and I think I had that moment where I was like. I asked my mom, I was like, I want Korn Follow the Leader for my birthday.
She put the X up. She put the.
No, she didn't.
Oh,
Because
she
like
did? Okay.
one thing I'll say about my mom, and it's been true, pretty much forever, is that she never stopped me from expressing myself the way that I wanted to express myself.
Yeah.
So like when I said that, she said,
I love that.
As
I
long
love that.
as long as you get your grades right and as long as you graduate on time and all that stuff, like I'll get you whatever you want. My grades were good, and for my graduation present or my going to the next grade present, I got what was it, Tomb Raider 2 and Korn Follow the Leader.
Okay.
CDs.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you,
That kicks ass.
I burnt that CD out. It has scratches and marks on it that you will never see. I had 2 or 3 copies of that CD. So like that was my introduction into fucking Marilyn Manson, into fucking Metallica, into all of that stuff. I was listening to that, but I was also listening to Jagged Edge and all the other stuff that my sister was listening to. So like I found my own way through this music journey myself. And I always think that it's so funny that I ended up where I was at like in my career at one point, because it could have went the other way. Like I could have been doing something else.
Yeah.
So like I thought, and I still think to this day, like Korn is like the coolest shit ever to me. And like I listen to them now, and it's like one of my bucket list things. I want to go see them before they're done.
We have to see them. But luckily, like I would say the biggest differential in my mind, it could be anything, but between Limp Bizkit and Korn and Slipknot is that Korn and Slipknot are still like, they tour.
Yeah.
Like they headline global festivals.
Yeah. Limp Bizkit does too.
They just, I feel like just not quite on the
on the level of Korn.
prestige.
Like Korn's 30th anniversary show at the fucking the LA
was it the
LAFC arena.
Yeah.
Looked fucking crazy. I was so mad they had the 30-year anniversary merch. I've been on eBay trying to find one of those 30th anniversary shirts because I'm so mad that I didn't go to that show. But like I want to see, like, they were the coolest thing ever. Because you know why? Because, and this obviously has a meaning, because they were the introduction of they are rock guys that are heavily influenced by the music that my parents, my sister, my people are fucking with. Mm-hmm. These guys have dreads, and of course, obviously, at a young age, I didn't know that white people dreads is like, a thing, a stigma. I didn't know that at the time, but it was like,
it's almost like they were so good at their thing, and now they're old. It's like, you should probably just have the dreads.
You should just keep it. Like,
keep them now.
Keep them now.
Like,
but
you're nobody else, but you can hang.
My first connection to everything, obviously, "Freak on a Leash." One of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah.
We could just go ahead and say it. Because my thing that I hate about nu metal is that people are so embarrassed and ashamed to say that they loved it. You shouldn't be.
No, but I do think that's changing.
You think so? Like
in the same way that like a lot of movies that people hated when we were younger are now like, no, that's a good movie.
It was fucking awesome time.
And it's like it's at a certain point, like it doesn't even matter whether it's a good song or a bad song, because like it. Like even like not that's not a song on this album, but like many songs on this album, if you've heard this album, even if you haven't heard it,
right?
Like, it is a genre defining song.
Absolutely. But I think that like my first kind of connection to everything was the Korn Got the Life video. There's a moment where Dub C, go watch this video if you've never seen it. It's still up there. Dub C
it hasn't been canceled.
It's crip walking. And that was the first time I had seen anything like this. WC was in the video, but on the album, Ice Cube's on the album, rapping. Homie from the Far Side is on the album, rapping. It's not just one thing, and also obviously Jonathan Davis, one of the best vocalists of all time.
Do not look up his non-vocalist stuff.
Is it that bad? Is it that bad?
Well, yeah,
it's pretty bad. Yeah. It's pretty bad.
He's like he appears on Fox News and stuff.
Yeah. But the thing is that like he's very non-political, but he did call Obama a lizard, and he might have been right.
Well, wait, hang on. Maybe we should all be taking a page out of him.
I mean, I know for a fact he doesn't like Trump, so that's fine.
I also, I'm not saying
he's from Bernardino not liking Trump.
Yeah. I'm not saying don't listen to people. I'm not. It is 2025. I think celebrities should be crazy. I don't care what their politics are. But these. Before I forget to say this, I want to say this in the car when I was listening. I listened to this album so many times in the last week.
Yeah.
So much more than I did in my life previous. But first off, it's incredible. Second, most of, I would say outside of like Eminem, Mac Miller, and Action Bronson when he's trying, almost every nu metal guy is a better white rapper than
rappers
random white rapper.
Yeah.
Like every nu metal guy is a better rapper than Yellow Wolf. Like,
wow, come on.
He should be doing, like, if Yellow Wolf were the front man of a hardcore band, it would be incredible.
But you know what's crazy about the white rappers here, like Fred Durst, and I mean even Corey from Slipknot kind of did his own little rapping shit.
And
they didn't flip over and say fuck niggas, we country.
No,
they just straight up they stuck with it. There's a bunch of white rappers, Post Malone, that flip over and they're like and go with Jelly Roll. I like Jelly Roll. He got some toe tappers.
Does Jelly Roll rap?
He used to rap with Lil White.
Oh, he used to rap, right? Yes. He was a rapper,
and
right?
he went over to country.
You know, shout out to Lil White. I haven't heard about him in a long.
Oh, I know. He better have gotten a finder's fee for Jelly Roll because. Those were there were
a few Lil White songs in college that I played the shit out of.
You an Oxycontin guy?
Yeah, and you know what? I would say like there is a direct direct line from Limp Bizkit and nu metal fandom straight to 3-6 and Lil White, and like I hate the term, but horrorcore. Like rap, whatever. Even like the worst rap ever, like Jedi Mind Tricks and stuff. Like that stuff is all in this orbit, and it's all like this album specifically is why that is. Because even though I think Slipknot and Korn do hold a little more prestige as artists, this album did break through more than any of the other ones.
Absolutely, and
with the exception of Linkin Park.
And again, like we talk about the kind of the advent of nu metal, new with the little what's it called, the umlaut at the top. Like the Korn started this shit. Mm-hmm. And that's why you should always give them respect, because they started this shit, the fucking scatting during freaking Elish. Niggas love that.
And they still rock. They're still fucking awesome.
They're still fucking, and it was heavy. They're a lot heavier now than they were in the 90s. Mm-hmm. They've actually grown a lot. I would love to do a Korn episode one day, but like the changes of them, you know, pre-2005 to post-2000, they're fully like full on metal at this point. But we're going to go to Jacksonville, Florida. We started at the advent of nu metal, but we're going to Jacksonville. Mark, you've been in Jacksonville. What's the vibe like out there?
Not enough times to be able to scream Duval County. I'm sorry, Amp.
Okay.
But, you know, it's a good part of the city.
It's a good part?
Good part of the state, I should say.
A young Fred Durst grew up obsessed with breakdancing, hip-hop, punk rock, and heavy metal. Sounds like any white dude in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Rap was just
especially in Florida.
Yeah.
Especially in Florida. Like rap was just so cool back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He decided he wanted to start a band that mixed up these elements, and so he teamed with Sam Rivers, who he played with in a failed band, and his other friend John Otto. How about that guy, John Otto?
Yeah.
One of the best drummers I've ever heard.
Yeah,
he's a fantastic.
And that's
drummer.
the thing, is because like it's ridiculous how nu metal and hardcore get kind of discounted, especially musically, because the drumming is like the best ever, like that there is, period. You talk, you know, you'll listen to like, you know, people talk about the best drummers or whatever from like, you know, classic rock and shit, and you could have like, you know, guys out in like metal and hardcore bands just like laughing their asses off, like that. You know, the drumming is just on a completely different level.
I'll say this, and this might be arguable, and anyone listening who agrees, and anyone who's just listening that, you know, doesn't even listen, I'll put this out there, even to our fans on YouTube that listen to us. We got shout out to people on YouTube. I think the one thing that people underrate about Limp Bizkit is the fact that this is one of the most technically talented bands of all time. Between Wes Borland and John Otto.
Yeah, they're incredible.
They have two of the best at what they do. And then you have DJ Lethal, one of the greatest DJs of all time.
And they're working so well in tandem.
Exactly. So they met John Otto at the formation of this idea, and they jammed with a couple of different guitarists before getting to Wes Borland, who we just mentioned. Wes Borland was such a theatric, funny guy,
all-time rocker name.
Yeah, it's Wes Borland.
Yeah, it's so fucking good, man.
He dressed up in monkey outfits. He has crazy face paint. I think we all know him for the blacked out contacts and shit like that. Like Wes Borland, like people would come to the shows to see what Wes Borland was going to wear.
These looks are so influential, man. Like even like you tell me, like you look at the Wyatt Six coming out on Friday, like they look like fucking nu metal guys. They do. It's awesome.
So as for the name, Fred wanted a name that will repel listeners, and he says that the name is there to turn people's heads away. He said a lot of people pick up the disc and go, Limp Bizkit, oh, they must suck. Those are the type of people we don't even want listening to our music. It's very
he hit the nail on the head.
What can we say about Fred Durst? We haven't really touched on him as a personality, but I think that a lot of what is so divisive about Limp Bizkit, what is divisive about this era, what is divisive about just everything around it, was that he was the poster boy of it.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of like a very classically Gen X thing where it's like, and it's especially classic white guy Gen X thing where it's like, because Eminem did it too.
Yeah.
It's like guy who refuses to stop being the class clown no matter what. Like, it is like, a funeral and this guy is like, making like pussy licking gestures at the corpse.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
that's that type of guy.
Yeah.
Is so
and he's not even like a bro. He's just a douche.
He's
and girls loved it. And I think even for the time, think of what we're coming off of just socio-politically. People were angry. It was a very angry time. And I mean, you hear it within this music. I would say Chocolate Starfish, before we get to it, is a more popified version of what they had been doing already. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But people were
decided it intentionally.
Yes, like I said, gleefully selling out. They were willing to sell out here for it. But like, I think with what they captured on was that anger. So, and I'll get to that in just a second. But as they create their hype and everything, underground scene in Jacksonville going crazy because of Limp Bizkit. They start covering things like George Michael's Faith, and they're, they had the enigmatic personality of Fred Durst, who would make people punch each other in the faces and shit like that. Wes Borland's going crazy. They pretty much had a chance meeting with DJ Lethal, who used to be in House of Pain, which is crazy for people who don't know that. He was in House of Pain, and he decided to join the band. But just as he joins, Wes Borland quits the band. And right before they get signed, so they were just about to sign to Flip Records, an independent thing, and it was kind of like a bidding war for them. But a chance meeting with Korn, where they gave them shitty tattoos, would mean that they were able to go across the world and catch the eye or the ear of Interscope Records. And right on the verge of this bidding war, they had a near fatal accident where their van flipped over 5 times and almost killed every single one of them.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah. So after that, they all survived. Fred decides to curve the flip deal and go with Interscope with a 50-50 deal. And Wes Borland rejoins the band, and they start their first, they put out their first album, $3 Bill, y'all, in 1997. Sold less than 7,000 copies, but peaked at Billboard number 22 after George Michael's Faith came out. I remember George Michael's, the Faith cover was like the song before I graduated, like, what was it, 6th, 7th grade?
Yeah.
That was the fucking song. Everybody loved that fucking song.
Yeah.
It was the shit. The video too. Amazing.
This was truly like a golden age for music videos too.
A tour video? Who does that anymore,
Yeah.
bro? Tour videos are awesome. They don't do it anymore,
We're
though.
almost like past the point, like, because like social media is so like pervasive.
Yeah.
Like most of the time, like somebody put out a music video for a song, and I'm like, we didn't really need this. Like, we're kind of past the need for it at this point, which is so weird to think about.
So from there, this album was kind of seen as the early landmark of the nu metal movement. There was some controversy with it, though. There was a payola scam that happened for this album where they were actually paying record labels to play George Michael's Faith. And Fred Durst, this is kind of one of his first moments where he's like gleefully selling out and trying to do things. He was cool with it.
Yeah.
Interscope was willingly paying people $5,000 to play this album. It eventually ends up, like I said, peaking and actually going gold at the time. And then a year passes. We get through to Significant Other, 1999. This album sold 643,000 copies in the first week.
Which honestly seems low.
Exactly. It was everywhere. You had Rearranged.
Yep.
You had Nookie. You had Break Stuff.
Break Stuff was a mo. As a young kid, as far as about trying to get into alternative, we're all TRL kids.
Yeah.
We had a very big melting pot of so many different genres in front of us. Limp Bizkit was huge. Obviously, Fred Durst being one of the bigger faces on TRL at the time. I just remember wanting to hearing more Limp Bizkit. And I typed in Kazaa. I typed in Limp Bizkit Break Stuff. Break Stuff was one of those, like, what the fuck?
Break Stuff was the first time I remember hearing any of their songs.
So mind you, this album drops on June 22nd, 1999.
And that's pretty close to
Woodstock 99. Remember I said the world was angry?
Yeah.
We're dealing with Columbine. We're dealing with a lot of people not feeling safe. We're dealing with impeachment drama. Still in the middle of that shit. We're dealing with a lot of things where people just feel just unhappy. Not unlike where we were at in the 2020s, early 2020s, and what kind of popped it off to go the other way, the world was kind of set up for the reaction to what would happen, in my opinion, a year after Chocolate Starfish came out. I think that we're in this moment again. People don't believe me.
Like at the end of a lit fuse.
Exactly.
Basically.
We hit a peak. This is the peak right here.
Yeah.
And funny
This
enough,
is the peak right here.
and funny enough, this is our first pre 9/11 ThrowBLKs.
Yeah, pre 9/11. We've seen the reaction, but this is where we're at now.
Yes.
Where you could have an album like this come out. Because I'll tell you this right now. A significant other couldn't have come out post 9/11.
Who knows if Chocolate Starfish could have?
Yeah, no, absolutely it couldn't. And that's why we'll say this again, it's a great rise and a precipitous fall after this shit happens because people's worlds changed, their lives changed. So the album was like the defining voice of late teen angst. I was angsty as fuck. I had Follow the Leader and Significant Other in the same summer. Are you fucking kidding me? Nigga, it was crazy.
And not to mention what's coming a year from now and in the next in 2000 with more new metal acts on the way.
Absolutely. And then you would get Korn Issues later this year too. In 1999, you'd have Korn Issues come out later that year. So they were on top. It was undeniable that these guys were making a big crawl for everything. And then you have Woodstock 99. The rearranged video, if you've never seen it, go watch it, is a reaction to the reactions of the Woodstock stuff. Maybe Fred Durst should have chilled the fuck out. If you've seen the documentary on Netflix, I think it's actually, or was it HBO or Netflix? I think it was HBO.
I haven't
It should
seen
be
it, but I
Max. It
think
should be
it's
on Max.
HBO. Yeah.
It's a really good documentary that talks about it. I don't think they actually spoke to Jonathan Davis or Fred Durst about it, but I did watch an interview with Fieldy and B Real, Fieldy from Korn and B Real from Cypress Hill. He has a podcast, and they asked him about the Woodstock 99 thing. And from his perspective, from Korn's perspective, they had no clue like what was kind of going on. It was like we showed up to play a show. We couldn't even see half the stuff that was going on. So when they found out about what happened after the fact, they were like, yo, like they should have fucking stopped it.
Yeah.
But you got to remember that day of Woodstock, it was all of them back to back to back to back.
Yep.
It was like, it was Limp Bizkit, Korn, DMX was out there earlier in the day. Like it was a lot of, and again, I say this again, the world was fucking mad at everything. I almost feel like they almost had no reason to be as mad because of what we have going on now. but I mean, it's comparable to like what was going on then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you had Fred Durst surfing, one of the most iconic shots of any concert ever, surfing on a wooden plank, and people get knocked out, people passing out, girls being assaulted, all types of shit. And who was hyping them up but Fred Durst? And people blame Limp Bizkit for a lot of that. And I think in this Chocolate Starfish, they deal with a lot of the reception of that as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's part and parcel of, obviously this is a little bit different because it's, an actual concert. But again, I could do a whole thing on how festivals are completely different than regular concerts. But this is Limp Bizkit's fault the same way that, Columbine is Eminem's fault, the same way that no, like that's not how it but again, because it is a live performance and it's a little bit different than all of that stuff, but it is still primed because of how all this stuff is seen culturally as like, if you listen the same way metal always had been, where it's like, if you participate listening to this, you're participating in like the deterioration of our culture.
Of America,
and like the Woodstock situation did not help the case. But I would say wasn't actually truly representative of what the scene was.
Yeah.
Like metal shows have very strict decorum.
Absolutely. And I think people looked at Woodstock and like to a lesser extent, like shit like Astroworld Tour, Astroworld Festival.
I was hoping you would say something.
And it's like that type of decorum it's not normal. Like that type of shit isn't normal to happen at these types of shows.
Yeah.
So like on one end, I get what Fred would say, like, how was I supposed to know? What was I supposed to do? But also like, nigga, yes.
Yeah,
you
come
knew.
on.
It was at a fever pitch by the time you guys got out there. Like they were already not eating, thirsty.
Yeah. On drugs all day.
All of that shit. Like it was hot as hell out there. It's like literally in the middle of a field. You know what I mean? So but needless to say, it blew them up even more.
Mm-hmm.
And
especially because it was like bad press was great press in 1999.
Yeah, back in the day, like there was no canceling, only rising from that. And Fred Durst starts hanging out with Eminem. He becomes the senior vice president of artist development, artist relations at Interscope Records at this time.
Fred did?
Yes.
I did not know that.
He worked at he had an office job at Interscope. That's how big he
Brand
got.
ambassador.
He became the senior vice president of A&R at Interscope at the time. He was a player coach that early in his career. That's how big Limp Bizkit was. I don't want people to act like this was this hated band. Like they had a lot of clout back in the day. I don't even know if I can compare this to anything else right now.
And a lot of the hate too is like there was such a suburban fear of stuff like this that doesn't quite exist in the same way now.
Right.
Like obviously, especially directed at black or brown culture, but even like like before nu metal really got popular, you have like Biohazard.
Yeah.
And another, we just mentioned a few of the other, but like slightly earlier, like mid '90s stuff that it was like, here's this is actually like a group with like a black guy, a white guy, and a Mexican guy in it, and it's like they're doing like boom bap shit
because there was such a blank space after Cobain passed. There was a blank space there. Like you still have Faith No More, who were killing it, and I think Mike Patton and Jonathan Davis are like 1 and 2. They're like the Thug and Future to me. Like those two were just changed the game. In my opinion. Faith No More is one of my favorite bands also. But there was like kind of a blank space there where they don't really know. No one really knew. And like Metallica had just come back at that moment. I think it was Reload had come out like 98 or something like that.
I think.
Marilyn Manson was kind of the big thing. And then Korn hit and it was a meteor.
Yeah.
And so anything that is judged by whatever happened after Korn. It's AK and BK at that point.
And there's also a little bit of like, I don't know the proper term for this, but like a little bit of like wigger culture tied to nu metal stuff. Like don't know what they didn't give us a new word for that one yet.
Is there a 2025 word for that?
Wigger?
You're not even, I can't even say it.
Whatever Drewski was doing on that.
I'm saying it like I hope I'm saying this in an academic way because I don't think I'm supposed to say it. But like people saw that as like if you like Eminem, you're like that's nu metal basically.
Yeah, pretty much. He was lumped in with the motocross BMX type shit.
Exactly.
And he hated that.
Exactly.
He hated
it. Yeah, he hated it. Like because that wasn't the types of fans he wanted. He wanted the rap fans.
Yeah.
However, he's hanging out with Fred Durst.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is it's like okay, Eminem. Well,
wasn't Fred Durst on Marshall Mathers? Or didn't he make a cameo on one of the videos or something?
Eminem's in.
He definitely brings up Fred Durst on Marshall
Mathers.
He's not in Marshall Mathers.
At least once. Eminem is in one of their videos.
He's
right?
in.
He's in a Limp Bizkit video, or Fred might be in an Eminem video.
He's not in Break Stuff. Because that's Snoop Dogg and Jonathan Davis.
But even that, it's so funny that like it has this like goofy white guy attachment to it because it's like. These guys, they were all best friends.
Yeah.
Like if you were putting on a festival like for this stuff, it was going to be like stoners, rap fans, and metal fans.
Well,
like, that was a thing.
Well, actually, you got it right. Yes, Eminem and his daughter Haley appeared in the music video for Limp Bizkit's song "Break Stuff." The video featured cameos from Snoop Dogg, Jonathan Davis, Dr. Dre, Pauly Shore, Seth Green, and Lily Aldridge.
And the
That's
thing
so
is,
awesome,
the
man.
thing is that the video was playing off of the supposed beef that Korn and Limp Bizkit had, even though because there's a part where him and Jonathan are about to square up, and then they just end up hugging because they're playing off of that beef because people thought they weren't cool. But I'm like, bro, they helped them break into the game.
Yeah.
Like that, there's no beef there, and I don't know if they're cool today, but like they were like this back in the day. Like they were super tight.
Well, it's so funny. Like even
this is such a great 2000s rock history lesson.
I know.
Like, it's so great to have been a part of that shit.
Even like what's the first song on Chocolate Starfish?
Hot dog. We're gonna get to that. I'm gonna break it down song by song.
Okay.
I gotta get to the.
Okay.
We're going on the sides, but it's a good thing. But I want to get to 2000. So like the recording of Chocolate Starfish happened in January 2000, and Rick Rubin was originally slated to be the producer and executive producer of the record, and he quit in less than a week. Are you shocked at all?
That's so funny because he hasn't quit on so many people.
Exactly. Like, are you shocked at all that he quit with the project that Fred Durst is fucking working on? I'm not shocked at all. And Terry Date, who actually produced their last record, returned to this record. The working title was originally Limp Dependence Day, but after it missed its original date of July 4th, And after several pushbacks, it was pushed to the fall of 2000. The band would delay the album, and then they stuck with the date in the fall 2000, and they stuck with the date of October 17, 2000, which was announced after they performed Livin It Up at the 2000 VMAs with Christina Aguilera. What a sentence.
That's crazy.
What a sentence. Him and Fred Durst and Christina Aguilera, they were tight. They liked each other. They were cool. They were often seen together. But let's jump into the album proper here. Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water. Let's start with the intro. What I do love about this album is that the intro themes continue throughout the album.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little way to enter it, but it was also a flip on how the album started in Significant Other. It also had an intro and an outro and everything like that.
Intro. I mean, if you think intros and outros are popular and annoying now, no. And you got to go back to like from 97 to 2009, you had intro. You go to your iTunes and you sort it by song title. You have 30 songs called intro. You have 20 songs called Interlude 1.
Yep.
Skit, outro.
So about the title, before we start proper, Chocolate Starfish obviously is a slang term for the human anus. Also, Fred did the art for this, the cover.
Can we talk briefly about the cover?
Well, what do you want to talk about, Mark?
What are your first thoughts looking at it?
Here's the thing. My only complaint about the cover is that the starfish itself didn't need an additional asshole on it. Like, I think without...
It already is one.
Yeah, like, it didn't need it. Like, other than that, I think it's absolutely fantastic. I just don't need the additional asshole on the starfish.
Hot Dog Flavored Water is an in-joke started by Wes Borland, who at a truck stop while the band was on tour during the summer of 2000, Borland saw bottles of Crystal Geyser flavored water and made a joke about having meat or hot dog flavored water. So this goes along with their original names of what they wanted Limp Bizkit to be. Let me find those names. Gimp Disco, Split Dick Slit, Bitch Piglet, and Blood Fart. So I mean, it's
Bitch Piglet is like actually a good name.
You know what I think. I think Significant, like this title is whatever. Like the title is gonna be this title is. I think Significant Other being the name of your second album is fucking genius.
Yeah, that's a really good title.
That is a genius second album name. Like that is actually.
I didn't even think about that. That's fantastic.
Because it's also a better album than the first one, but it's the Significant Other. It's like I'm like, oh, that is actually really awesome. Fucking cool. But let's get into the album proper. Intro, you one of the best. That was Significant Other. But it has DJ Lethal, John Otto. But then we get into Hot Dog, a song that gained notoriety at the time for having the word fuck 49 times.
Yeah, it says fuck a lot. It's also basically, I mean, it's a half cover of a Nine Inch Nails song.
Well, you want to know what you guys want to know the story is behind this?
I do know that Reznor cleared the sample.
He did. So Trent Reznor in an interview, which again, if you think about how particular and careful Fred is about the Limp Bizkit just brand.
Yeah.
He watched everything. He listened to everything. Basically, Trent Reznor had some negative things to say about Limp Bizkit in an interview, basically saying like, yo, like they're killing rock right now. Like this is awful. And so Fred Durst said, you know what, man? Fuck this. I'm gonna fucking dish you on your own shit, but also cover it as well. To say that I can do it better. The funny part about it is that Trent Reznor was actually asked about the covering, like basically clearing the song because he had to clear it in order for it to go. So he said that he actually hadn't heard the song. Yeah. And he said in order to not hold
he's like, I don't want to hold it up
again. Exactly. Said basically so as not to hold up the album from coming out, he just cleared it without hearing it, not knowing it was a diss, but he was cool with it. He didn't give a shit about it.
He's the coolest fucking
He's
guy,
so
man.
fucking cool.
Also, rich off samples between this, and I'm sure there's a bunch of others, but then even fucking Old Town Road had a Nine Inch Nails sample.
He's rich forever.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Old Town Road is a Nine Inch Nails.
And it's like it's a sample off of like a 2014 Nine Inch Nails release that doesn't even have vocals on it.
Yeah.
What were his comments about outside of? Did he say anything other than I just don't like Limp Bizkit?
Let me find the comments.
I bet he wasn't like I love this music, but I bet he was like right.
And I want to ask, do you feel like he's quote unquote right due to the fact that, as you noted earlier, I think alternative rock just in general is trying to find a new identity since Kurt Cobain passed in 1994. Between 95 and 97, we get a whole bunch of brand new acts, but we didn't really have anything that was too detailed on what the new voice was going to be.
I could see Trent at the time really fucking hating these guys.
He said in an interview in 1999, he referred to Durst as a moron, but he was referencing the Woodstock performance, saying that by stating, "Let Fred Durst surf on a piece of plywood up my ass."
Okay,
at that point.
that's interesting.
And then there was a diss before this, where Reznor did, and I remember this too. He parodied Fred Durst in the video for Starfuckers.
Oh, and then there's a line about that.
Yeah, there's a line about it, and he threw a baseball at Fred Durst's image, and it broke. So he was actually upset, and I kind of get him. Like he felt as though Fred Durst was extremely irresponsible for the Woodstock incident. But again, this thing was probably even deeper than that because Nine Inch Nails was on Interscope. And right after June 99, Fred Durst was given the role of Senior Vice President of A&R, which allowed him to sign, he signed Stained, he signed Puddle of Mud, and Cold, who Reznor was probably like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is going on?
I don't know the third one.
This is like Jay-Z owning being president of Def Jam at the time.
Yeah.
Before it happened.
Yeah.
And he did all this stuff. So I would imagine that a lot of the animosity was from that. So him and Reznor had like some real beef.
Reznor's looked at these signees. Like,
has Jimmy Iovine ever talked about any of this?
I don't think so. I mean, ultimately, like he was only on the rock side of it. So like Jimmy was probably so worried about
rap.
2001
Sure.
it just come out. All of the other stuff. He was probably worried about that aspect of it.
Jimmy was like, I have to make sure every rap album has 22 songs on it and no less.
But just to think that Fred Durst would become such a huge tastemaker after Significant Other in that way shows you this was a rock band that had popularity that was more similar to Backstreet Boys than was Metallica or even Korn at the time. Like even though Korn was like top of the tops at the time. But Hot Dog, before we can start this, like, Mark, you probably don't have like a frame of reference of anything that happened before this, like Significant Other, $3 Bill, y'all. I can go on record and say that I feel like this is Fred Durst's best rapping that he's ever done. Like,
it's good. This is what I was talking about before. I was like, he's like a good rapper.
Yeah, he's good on this. There's some groaners.
Yeah.
He's good for a groaner or two.
Yeah, his flow is never bad.
Yeah, his flow is always very good. And for the large part of this, he is rapping every single fucking song on this thing. So it's a fucked up.
He's not really singing. He's certain if he's.
There's like two songs.
Sure. But if he's doing one or the other, he's rapping.
It's a fucked up world, a fucked up place. Everybody's judged by their fucked up face, fucked up dreams, fucked up life, a fucked up kid with a fucked up knife.
People loved saying that at my school. I was like, we sent like 97% of people to college in this district. Stop it.
Yeah.
Ain't it a shame that you can't say fuck? Fuck's just a word, and it's all fucked up. Like a fucked up punk with a fucked up mouth. A 9-inch nail will get knocked the fuck out. I said, yo, what did you feel like when you first heard that, Mark? Because I didn't tell you about the beef before this album.
Well, for one, I didn't know they had issues. The main thing that I knew rap-wise as far as Fred Durst was just like, man, if Method Man killed that Primo beat, hey, he has respect in both genres.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that there was such disdain from the rock area.
Well, that's one of the funny things about like nu metal and alt rock at this point is like they had beef in the same way that rappers did.
Yeah.
Like there's guys who fucking hated each other.
Yeah, exactly. So to see that and now realize that I think the opinion of Limp Bizkit, I think, got heightened a lot for me in this album than it did in most other moments. Outside of that, I've had my Limp Bizkit records. Significant Other, there's a couple records on there that I love. Chocolate Starfish and Hot Life Paperboard.
This is a full listen, though.
Yeah, I got more records that I liked out of Chocolate Starfish. And then I had some on Results May Vary, too. But this was pretty eye-opening for me.
Yeah, like,
this plays like a greatest hits album.
It does, because it's the best of what this to me. I'll just be clear. I think this is the best album. Like this is like people can say Significant Other. I feel like Significant Other largely is a rough draft to what they're doing here. They are willingly going forward into saying this is what is going to get us the most money, and it's interesting. It's actually really interesting what they do to get here, and I love what they did. Again, swinging on my nuts is a fucked up game. If I say fuck 2 more times, it's 46 fucks and it's fucked up rhyme. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome.
It's a great, and again, like if you're somebody like Mark who had never really listened to this, like obviously the chorus of Closer is the closer. There's no reason for me to repeat the chorus of this song because it's a Nine Inch Nails song. But what's even funnier, when you think about it, add it up, they're on Interscope, he's already senior VP, he just sends it through. And I mean, Trip pretty much has to kind of like say yeah to it. I mean, he's gonna clear the song regardless of what's happening. Yeah. But just imagine Trent's face when he's like, Limp Bizkit sampled us? He's not even just a sample. Yeah. He's straight up.
Yeah, it's a full interpolation.
He interpolated the whole fucking song, bro. But again, you start to hear how heavy this is. These first 4 or 5 songs are fucking heavy.
Yeah.
They're heavy as shit. Then we get into My Generation, 3rd track.
A few more interpolations going on.
Yeah, you know, you get John Otto, take him to the Matthews Bridge. Bro, that shit was hard.
Yeah, it's so good.
I like to call it DJ Lethal.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm fucking with that. Okay.
Welcome to the jungle, punk. Take a look around. It's Limp Bizkit fucking up your town. We downloaded the shockwave for the ladies in the cave to get your groove on.
Yeah, that like get groove on like that voice as like a
people hate
of the time.
People fucking hate his voice.
It's like there are bands now who like
would kill for a distinct voice like that.
Well, yeah, totally. But they like a lot of bands now like they're just doing a Limp Bizkit gimmick.
Yeah.
Like they it's like this is just a style of singing now.
Yeah.
Almost like because it's just like you have to like make your voice flex in this certain way and like it's kind of natural, but it's also like just like okay, you have been on coke at a party for 9 hours, but you've also been the only guest there for 8 of those hours. Like, that's how you talk. Okay.
But it's like this, My Generation is literally his call to arms for Generation X. I think they finally understood we got him. Mm-hmm. After Significant Other, after Woodstock, they're right fucking here in the palm of our hands. And it's really like Generation X's My Generation song at the time. Like this is what kids were feeling. So it's like, so go ahead and talk shit. Talk shit about me. What are they saying, Fred? What are they saying?
Yeah.
What are they talking about?
That's the thing is it's like, do you like what haters? Like it's like a classic like who?
Because I love the chorus because we don't give a fuck and we won't ever give a fuck about you give a fuck about me. My generation. This is the groaner. I think we'll point out a groaner in every song.
Okay, yeah.
Hey kid, take my advice. You don't want to step into a big pile of shit. Why do you start the verse with that?
Yeah.
What that even mean? But then after that, it's like Captain's drunk, your world is Titanic, floating on the funk. So get your groove on.
Yeah.
That's a
right.
good line.
Yeah.
It's a good. He's got some lines, but it's often followed by groaners so much that you often like just forget that he actually made a really good latent point there.
But it's kind of like part and parcel of the whole thing. Where it's like, okay, that's why it like you're kind of accepting the poetry of like this guy's gonna say the stupidest shit ever,
but he's gonna say something hard right after.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's gonna say something hard right after.
It's a little bit of like I forgive me, I have not seen Final Reckoning yet, but it's a little bit like in Dead Reckoning when you're like, I just watched the best action sequence of all time. What are they talking about right now?
That's honestly like what my Mission Impossible Final Destination is like. It's like it's like you get you don't want to step to the big pile of shit right into the Titanic line right after that. That's a submarine sequence. What'd you feel about the bridge of him basically like kind of touching on the Woodstock thing? Who gets the blame? You get the blame, and I know, nigga, you get the blame because it was your fucking fault.
Well, like it's the same thing to me as on.
The Way I Am?
Marshall Mathers, on The Way I Am.
Yeah, exactly. And bullied and shoot you in school, and they blame it on Maryland and the heroin. Where are the parents at?
But
I mean, there's a lot of artists getting pointed and blamed at it, being like, hey, we can't really control what's going on in America right now. We're going to blame rap. We're going to blame rock.
But Eminem won't surfing on the plywood.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the difference. Eminem wasn't surfing on the plywood at that point. Like, it just wasn't.
Well,
that wasn't happening.
And that because Eminem was not on that piece of plywood, that is why to this day he's still, even though he hasn't put out a good album in 15 years, he's still seen as like one of the best. And when he was, but again, for almost 20 years, he's been bad. Yeah. And, but he's still, because he wasn't like this, he was goofy, but he wasn't that goofy.
Yeah.
And so now he still has like that level of prestige, but that's ridiculous.
And then we get into, okay, I love My Generation. I'm sorry. Listen,
I'm
not skipping anything in these first like 10 songs. I'm sorry. Like, you can hate me if you want. I love this. I'm giving it a perfect score. I don't give a fuck. This sounds fantastic, bro.
Okay.
I love this album, yo. We get into Full Nelson, And I think at this point, Mark, you're like, oh, this is like Nuck If You Buck for crackers.
Yeah, it is like that.
I think this is the part that I texted Justin and I was just like, oh, niggas are getting their heads knocked off today.
Oh, yeah.
This is literally Lil Jon knocking heads off for white people.
Why is everybody always picking on me? Why is everybody always picking on me? Does anybody really know a thing about me? Does anybody really know a thing about me? One of these days we'll be in the same place at the same time, punk, at the very same time, yeah. And when it takes place and you want to talk shit, then stop your eyes from saying right to my face. You get knocked the fuck out.
It's just the rage. I could just picture you get knocked the fuck. I could just see the crowd just
Knock straight the fuck out.
Because you're writing checks that your ass can't cash. And then boom, somebody get cleared.
Bro, he had the formula. Now, if Korn, like, their songwriting was very, I feel like, in a way poetic, but also kind of talked around some of the issues sometimes. It was very symbolic, I'd say. They had the skill.
It was more like traditionally metal, almost.
Yeah, like Limp Bizkit had the ability to be direct. And I think that is the major reason why they resonated so well. This is direct as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You going to school, you're in high school, you're in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, somebody talking shit about you.
Yeah.
And this is your song.
It's a little bit like License to Ill, almost.
Yeah.
Like, it has that, like, teenage white guy bravado shtick.
And then it goes right into, I ain't believing all the shit you've been talking about me. Like, so verse 1, you ain't knock him out yet? So you still can't believe it? Are you just thinking about this shit? You haven't knocked him out yet? Damn. And then, like, you get to... And again, like, I love the little middle part of the song, the midpoint where it's like, so where you at? Where you been? I'm sure I'll be seeing you again. Like, this is like
there's a lot of good breakdons of bridges on this album.
Yes, like
throughout.
The
There's a lot of
bridges,
scratching on this album.
Absolutely,
like, this is a really good record.
Because it's like you get the groaners up there.
Yeah.
Then you get something really dope, and it's like they managed to find something that was cool for everyone. That's why I can't say that this genre was so embarrassing because of what it brought to the songwriting and structure of these songs.
Mm-hmm.
You've never really heard anything like that before. Before then,
it was embarrassing because it was brand new to people.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you know, the same way, like I don't, the same way Thug was.
Yeah.
Like, people were embarrassed by Thug, and it's like, it's because it's something new as a threat, something that's like this.
You don't understand.
Yeah, and talk about like somebody who will just like do something as like a fuck you.
But I feel like Fred was testing people because he was like, I'm going to do something so cringe, and I'm going to be so cringe that people think my music is cringe because I'm cringe.
That's the class clown thing. Is it's like I live this. You think this is a bit? I live this.
Because you saw Y2K, the movie Y2K.
I didn't see it.
Awful
I didn't see it. I don't know anyone who liked it.
Terrible movie. But Fred Durst is in it.
Okay.
And there's a child in the movie, or the kid in the movie, who really loves Limp Bizkit. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the few...
He's playing himself?
He's playing himself.
Okay.
And it's one of the few things that they kind of get right is the irony of what Limp Bizkit represented to Outkast back in the day. Like, this is a dude like Fred Durst. He's fucking rich. He's fucking pop hose, and he's a senior VP of A&R at Interscope. What do you have in common with him anymore?
It's like Jimmy Buffett singing about like being broke and dead drunk on the beach, and it's like, don't you have $200 million?
That's not you. That's not you, my man. So I'm upset at the people who verbally rape us. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
We try to ignore them until they keep talking. Who is talking?
Yeah, ignore them until they keep talking. It's so funny.
And then we gotta burn this motherfucker down. Burn this motherfucker! You get knocked the fuck out!
Bro, I would not want to be live seeing that.
It seemed like with this and certain songs on this album, they wanted to outdo Break Stuff. And this is kind of like that right there. Like, this is the third song on the album.
Well, you're not making this album not thinking about live performances.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
100%. And then you get to, this was one of their biggest songs.
Yeah.
I think biggest actually.
This is probably their biggest crossover hit. Even more than Rollin.
Than Nookie.
Yeah.
And it crossed over into pop radio at the time. Of course, we're talking about My Way. Mm-hmm. If you're a kid of my age, Mark's age, Pat's age, we all know My Way from WrestleMania 17.
Yep.
The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Embedded in brains.
That video package.
60,000 at the Astrodome.
This got play even on like the radio station we listened to when my mom was driving was, you know, it was Q104, the 80s, 90s, and now.
Yeah.
Like, so it was, you know, it had everything from like it didn't have urban on it. I'll say that. It had, but it didn't have a ton of like straight up pop either. So it was mostly like Sheryl Crow.
Hold on 1 second. Look at this. Why you might also like. Guess what they're suggesting me?
Guess what the first thing is?
What's the first thing is they might be suggesting? Why?
Must be on the beat, ho.
Any rap nigga. No, it's not even that one.
It's Euphoria.
It's Euphoria. Why are they suggesting? How?
Bro, this is AstroTurf. The next two songs are Limp Bizkit songs.
Exactly. It's AstroTurfing. It's crazy, right? Anyway, My Way, DJ Lethal.
But this got played like on other stations.
Yeah, DJ Lethal highlight tape. If you want to really get down to it. This and Rearrange were like a DJ Lethal highlight tape. The Check Out My Melody from Eric B. and Rakim's My Melody.
Yep.
This is why he's there.
Yeah.
This is why DJ Lethal's there.
Them using a good sample.
Yes.
It's incredible. And it instantly, like, it does you can say what you want about it sampling, but it does what an amazing sample can and should do is where it's like, it brings the gravitas to this song, like, this is kind of like, it's my way or the highway. Okay, shut up, jackass.
But it's like a great breakup song.
Oh, yeah, so totally.
There's blues in it. There's country in it. There's that heartbreak in it. And I think people
and then you hear the sample and it's like, okay.
Yeah. Like, it's like you hear all of that and it all comes together. It's crazy that they came up with this. But it's genius. You hate it, but it's genius that Fred Durst came up with all this stuff. Like, you think you're special. You do. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it when you laugh at me. Look down on me and walk around on me. Just one. Like Wes Borland highlight tape, by the way. Yeah. One of the greatest John Otto highlight tape, by the way.
The instrumental is just incredible.
Just like everything about this song.
And not that Durst isn't great on it, but the instrumental is so
100%.
Good. And the sequencing on this album also is really good. This is a really well-placed song.
They put all the hits at the top.
Well, that's also a product of when it came out.
Yeah, they understood. Because I can remember back in the day, like what were a couple of these like albums, they put the hits all the way at the back.
Some of them, but that's when they still were like, are people just going to let this fucking thing play all the way through? Like, I don't really know. They don't have to flip anything. What's going on here?
This time, I'm going to let it all come out. This time, I'm going to stand up and shout. I'm going to do things my way because it's my way. My way.
I thought you were going to start off with "To Be On My Own Again, Free Again." Yeah. Those parts.
His voice too is so perfect for like saying this funny stuff.
Exactly.
But again, like the bridge song, "Someday You'll See Things My Way." Like again, the melody of it is great. Like it's a song you can play today.
Yep.
And it still hits today. Like it did then. It is the seminal Limp Bizkit song.
And people act like there's no musicianship in these songs, and it's crazy.
I'm sorry, Nookie. I'm sorry, fucking Faith. I'm sorry, all of this is the seminal Limp Bizkit song. This is it.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the one that you go back to, and you know what? This isn't a skipper, right? This is we're in agreement, right?
Oh,
is there any other points we want to?
I mean, classic enough, so much so that people are begging for it to be used every WrestleMania for the past 20.
And this is
they should use it again.
This is the beginning. Have you ever seen that video package?
No, I don't think so.
We'll watch it right after this.
You never seen Rock Austin?
I don't think so.
He's never seen Rock Austin before. He's never seen Rock Austin before. This is the beginning of Limp Bizkit's 2 or 3 year relationship with WWE.
Okay, that's awesome.
Fred Durst would end up in a game, one of their games at one point.
Okay.
They used Crack Addict from Resosame very literally like the next year in 2002.
Which is hilarious thinking about that now.
That might be my favorite Limp Bizkit song of all time. Outside of My Way, My Way and Crack Addict is probably 1A, 1B.
Like, because Crack Addict ended up being the Rock Austin from the next year, I think, right? Or from 19 or whatever. Like one of those
pretty much
years.
the whole WrestleMania 19 theme. In general, but
but again, like it was big, but it was already a hit before WWE got it. It was so much of a hit, that's why they grabbed it for the thing.
If anything is better than fucking, God, what's it called?
Weekend?
No,
Flow Rider.
The Travis Scott.
Oh, Fiend.
Fiend. But it's crazy. Their wrestling influence was even 2 years prior to that because Paul Heyman had Limp Bizkit in ECW. When Steve Corino was starting to get hot for ECW, Steve Corino walks into a Limp Bizkit show with his ECW gear on, tries to fight him, and he got his head cracked. Steve Corino got his head cracked by Balls Mahoney, and I want to say it was New Jack. I want to say it was Balls Mahoney and New Jack.
That's
they crashed
awesome.
the Limp Bizkit show. Or was it Balls Mahoney and Axelrod? I can't remember. But they went to the Limp Bizkit show, cracked Steve Carino, and that influenced Heyman hyped that up and used that
was
video
one of the
package.
biggest. And the footage was so blurry.
Yeah, blurry as shit. You could tell they did this just on the fly, and then they ended up like afterwards getting dudes from Smashing Pumpkins, but Billy Corgan. Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah, him and Durst are like close, right?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Yeah, so having that rock influence in wrestling was something that I think brought me really close. Not only from the soundtracks, but just the themes that were used month to month WWE wise. I think that ended up making a bigger rock fan out of me.
Yeah. All right, partner. Keep on rolling.
Keep on rolling, baby.
You know what time it is.
This song.
This came out the month before the album. They needed a hit. They needed a
crazy.
hit. They needed a hit bad.
What came out before this?
It was nothing. This
was the first single?
This was the first single.
That's a very modern release.
Yeah, like
schedule.
Because "Livin It Up" was performed, I think days before at the VMAs.
Okay.
This dropped right after,
Yeah.
and it was over because they were looking for a hit, looking for a hit, looking for a hit.
I might have just read. I did just read this. I think they dropped "Rollin" and another single at the same time.
Yes. So it actually might have been the third single. I think it was "Livin It Up." It was "Livin It Up."
And
this
then "Rollin" and it was like a double A side single.
Yes, you're right. You're right. It was. You're right. It was this. This might have been the first or second.
I think "Livin' Up" was the first, and this was the one of the A's.
Yes, because the way music came out back then, it was obviously B-sides, B-side, and then it was this one. But this was the one that caught.
Yeah, this is when they were trying to get you to walk into Sam Goody and buy the disc of a single.
Yes, and then by the album, it was working though.
Yo.
It was working for motherfuckers though.
Yeah.
The video of this, Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
You my favorite.
Told you.
This video, classic.
Stiller was not against appearing in music videos.
No, he was
in
not.
this specific era.
No, he was not. And again, this ended up being the Undertaker's theme song for a while in WWE.
Awesome.
When he came back as the Dead Man or American Badass.
American Badass had 2 heaters in a row. Had American Badass for like 2 months or 3 months, maybe by Kid Rock.
Yeah, and
classic, and then went straight into Rollin'.
Kid was in his. I mean, it's kind of crazy we've gotten this far into the episode without mentioning Kid Rock.
That is true.
He was definitely there. Ball with the Ball was right there.
Yeah,
as far as all of them. Yeah, as far as
was doing the white guy scatting.
As far as like niggas just in general fucking with Rock, it's so crazy how he went so.
And he went so country and so actually.
Is he the first?
Yeah,
as far as rappers though, it's like I'm about.
I'll say he stuck with rap longer than most.
Yeah, he didn't really go full country. I want to say until.
He did that song with Sheryl Crow?
No, that I will say this. I probably never said this on a podcast before. There are days when I think that Picture, that song with Sheryl Crow, there are days when I believe it is the worst song ever written. Truly, I hate the song. I do think it's on Cocky. Which I think is 04, I want to say.
Bragging motherfucker if you back it up.
That's a great, there's some great songs on that album.
No, see, okay. The actual first single, we're going to talk about this song after, was Take a Look Around. That was the first single. But you realize why it had to be first because of when the movie came out. Then it was My Generation, then it was Rollin'.
Yeah,
those are the first two. It was bothering me. This is a great verse, all right? Now, you know y'all be loving this shit right here. Limp Bizkit is right here. People in the house, throw your hands in there.
Because if you don't care, then we don't care.
1, 2, 3, turn 2 to the 6. Joseph for your fix it, I Limp Bizkit mix. So where the fuck you at, boy? Shut the fuck up and back the fuck up while we fuck this track up. Come on, man. But again, it shows you his influence, and it wasn't new age rap. It was very much Grandmaster Flash. It was very much Eric B. and Rakim. And he raps like that. For better or for worse, he raps like that.
And I would say this verse is probably like when you hear guys like still doing nu metal voice, they're doing this verse.
Doing this.
Like, I was at there's a hardcore band that I love from Santa Cruz called Drain, and they're like very much like more like traditional, like not like New York hardcore, like kind of what we're talking about. But we leave the show, and there's like some guys on like there's a big ass van outside of the show, and this is at the Palladium, so like right in the middle of Hollywood, and this band called Silly Goose is like performing, like the lead singer's on top of the van, and he's basically doing like a Fred Durst type of thing. Like he's like on the van, he's like doing like, you know, Fred Durst voice. He's like crip walking up there.
Oh man,
and
that's cringe today. Though.
I thought so. I thought so.
Cringe today.
But like, it wasn't like really crip walking. He was just doing the like kind of dance.
Because as much as Fred Durst was cringe in that sense, I don't think he ever took it to, which is surprising and shocking considering that he's white and from Florida.
And it was the 90s.
And it was the 90s that he never actually crossed into disrespecting black culture explicitly.
Yeah. I just mean more he was doing that like 90s style of like stage dancing.
For sure. Like but to my point, like it's actually kind of crazy that I can't think of any time that he's ever done it.
Or even like said anything untoward, really.
Yeah, well, he did say a couple times he wanted to beat up gay people and stuff.
Okay, well that's not exactly.
It's definitely 90s shit.
Yeah.
It's definitely 90s shit. But again, musicality here. Do you guys remember the Rollin dance?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Rollin dance is just, you know, next level. The verse 2.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, but really, but that band now, Silly Goose.
Yeah.
Like they're like huge now. Like
really?
Their thing of like traveling across the country and just doing like a straight up punk ass new metal show on their van outside of like the end of other concerts.
Yeah.
It worked. They're like a big band now.
Have you heard of All American Rejects doing like house parties?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's sick as hell.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Second verse here. You want to mess with Limp Bizkit? Why? Yeah, you can't mess with Limp Bizkit. Why? Because we get it on win every day and every night. Oh.
This is his best DMX right here. This is his best DMX.
Yeah, we doing it all the time. So get some better beats and get some better rhymes. We got the gang set. So don't complain yet. 24/7. I've been begging for a rain check. Old school soldiers blasting out the hot shit, the rock shit, putting bounce in their mosh pit. Come on, man.
It is because he is so obviously doing like DMX.
When I heard that, I was like, this motherfucker.
DMX is on the album.
Yeah,
he's on the album.
But also like because it's so performative, he's allowed to do it the same way he's allowed to quote like 8 different songs across the first 2 songs on his album. Like it just works. Like it's part of the whole act.
I mean, again, perfect song. I don't got much else to say. You know what I'm saying? The dance is amazing. Then we get to Livin It Up. They actually performed this with Christina Aguilera at the VMAs.
Okay.
Ben, this dedicated to you, Ben Stiller. You are my favorite motherfucker. I told you, didn't I?
That he's gonna get a shout out.
Drama makes the world go around. Does anybody got a problem with it? But I again, very Eric B. and Rakim inspired, very like old school rap inspired. Yeah. Livin It Up is like,
but they knew their shit.
They did. Like, they really did. They're students of the game, 100%. Yeah. Like they're students of the game. And again, it's like he's making a lot of pop culture references. Christina Aguilera. My line here, Pat. And this is what I want to stick to you. Oh, he says.
I'll tell you what I can't not think of when you tell me this. I'll tell you.
I feel like we're thinking of the same thing. Okay. Why? What do you feel about a motherfucker that tells you that he saw Fight Club 28 times in 2000?
Okay, that is the funniest fucking line I've ever heard. Like, what does he say? Like, must have seen the Fight Club 28 times.
About 28 times.
That's so fucking funny.
Why are you watching Fight Club 28 times, bro? What's wrong with you?
It's like that's like the classic like this like angry white guy in 1999 watching Fight Club and being like, this is the right thing. This is some smart shit.
Also, totally not understanding the message.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can tell Fred did not understand the message to Fight Club.
Yes.
Because that's not a movie you watch 28 times to say, yes, I will watch it again.
Yeah, but that is the exact type of guy. Is like the new metal guy is the guy who watches Fight Club and takes the wrong message from it.
But again, we're very much at this point in the album. We're seeped into angry white man rhetoric. We're about to slow it down.
Yeah.
After this, but it's like this is the first 7 songs, and I think if there's any, not even an indictment, but message to what 2000 was, it's this.
Yeah.
It's all about to fall apart in a year, but it's all this. It's this 100%.
Yeah.
Like Livin It Up is this song. I think of the 7 songs, it's probably the weakest. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't fault you if you skipped it, but I probably won't skip it. I love this song. It's great. Then we get into the girl song.
Yeah.
What's your feelings about the one?
I don't know if I had heard it like in the wild before I heard it listening to this album. And I do always like listening to something like this and being like, oh, even though they were like figuring out CD technology at the time, they do still try to give stuff like a semi clear cut side A, side B. Here's where the line,
the cutoff is
type of thing.
Yeah.
And even they always do it like with, like whether it's Limp Bizkit or fucking, I don't know, T.I., they always try to split up the record with like, all right, here's all the hits on the front, and now we got kind of a slow song to like
this for the
break
ladies.
this up.
Yeah. Also interesting, this song and the last song, Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots co-produced.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because they have that like more.
They're douches. Of course they get along.
Yeah. And these songs have that like quality of like not like there's a little more, it feels like there's a little more distortion on them.
The one that was Young J5's kind of like, I'm looking for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this could be the one. But like Significant Other had No Sex, which was just
like all rage, all fighting.
No, there was a song called No Sex on Significant Other.
But I think you'd be fair assuming that as
that's
well.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. Like No Sex was like a very blunt and like unromantic kind of version of this.
Yeah,
this is a more refined and smoothed out version of the girl song that they were trying to go for in Significant Other. Like No Sex is just kind of like, it's douchey. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of like, okay, he's getting into his songwriting bag. Yeah. And there's a lot less groaners on this by association. And I think a lot of that has to do with Scott Weiland helping out. But I think that this could be the one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's just hard.
These are this is the record that actually roped me in a bit. I had said that one of my more favorite Limp Bizkit records is probably one of their more controversial ones. I was a young
Behind
kid
Blue
on
Eyes?
forums. Behind Blue Eyes, I remember so many people being fucking enraged online. Yeah. How the fuck could you cover the Who? You ruined it. You fucking ruined it.
Because I'm the senior VP of Interscope,
motherfucker. He was no stranger to fucking covering the Who.
Yeah, I mean, they covered them all the time. Yeah. They covered George Michael. They love that shit.
Yeah, so hearing those more, I guess you would say emotional moments from Fred Durst are one of my more favorite ones. So the one was right on my alley.
They also make the other moments like, they like the ebb and flow of it like makes it work.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and then you get like really good verses like chemistry is everything. Before I get to that, I've been looking for my miss, right? But she don't exist. Chemistry is everything. We're anything but this. Maybe I've crossed your path and swept you off your feet, or maybe I'm the reason why you cry at night before you sleep. Like that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
That's good writing.
It's great, and you're also imagining it like being written by a guy who like hangs out a lot at like the food court at the mall.
We haven't even talked about like the Playboy Mansion party that they had for this album.
Which is so, it's just like the I feel like because they achieved this like meteoric fame so quickly. I mean, as did many, but like there's such there's a canyon between the lives that their fans are leading
and with the lives that they're
leading. Now, that's not true with any artist, but really, like, bro, this is this is not Playboy Mansion party type of people buying your records.
No, that are even being invited to this stuff. But the one, I thought the one should have been a single. They ended up going with Boiler, which I feel as though it makes sense. It's harder. It's what the people
probably didn't want. They were like, if people like this, they'll like it. We don't need it to be a single.
It's a great, in terms of great album cuts. This is capital A album cut, but also really fucking good songs.
Yeah.
And again, you're getting more musicality out of them this album.
Yeah.
And then you get to Getcha Groove On.
Yeah.
With Xzibit, produced by DJ Lethal. Now, big caveat here, the original version of this song is not on streaming anymore. It is actually the version of the song that was on their new Old Songs remix album.
Okay.
The original version of the song is actually taken off of streaming. If you can find a CD with the original version on this, I'll pay you.
It's rare?
It's probably, I mean, a million people bought this first week. So like somebody's got it out there.
Was
Someone has it.
Clearance?
It was a clearance issue, and I'm guessing that they cleared it. It went out, and years later, I'm talking years later, they found out that it wasn't cleared and they had to replace it. So it's no
or some stuff like isn't cleared specifically for streaming.
Yeah.
Like it's cleared for physical, but it's not cleared for streaming. So I don't know.
Again, the rule of streaming is so tricky that this happens here, but you got Fred Durst and Xzibit, the West Coast influence. I just talked about Dub C and the Korn video. West Coast rappers actually embraced rap rock a lot more than like East Coast did.
Yeah,
which is
or a lot more than like anybody wants you to believe.
Yes,
like
because like the only other big moment of that is Lil Jon getting the guitars from Slayer on Crunk Juice.
Yes,
like that was on Stop Fucking With Me, which is like still one of the greatest fucking Crunk songs of all time, but. You don't want to fuck with me today because a little something didn't go your way. So try not to be like that today because I'm a real motherfucker from around the way. And we don't give a fuck when we rock out of place because we only giving a fuck if you're invading the space to get your groove on. Gotta get your groove on. If it's waiting too long. This is probably the worst rapped Fred Durst.
Yeah.
He's terrible.
He's
terrible.
This was First Take.
This is don't you treat me like a toy kid. Do you enjoy this?
Hey,
Send
the message early.
Hey,
don't play like a toy, bro.
What if I walk through and say, "Don't treat me like a toy, kid"?
I'd be like, all right, I won't play with you. Fuck it.
Got these laser beam mic checks communicating through the Genelec. What?
That's when you're making up words.
Exactly.
You're like, okay, wait, hang on a second here.
Don't want to be that guy every single second. I'm alive. I don't understand why. I got control full of candy in your soul. While pumping up the sweetness, this is what you need. Another little piece of me inside of you because you know that I always keep it true. That's exactly what I do. It's what I do. Yeah, it's what I do. I said, get the fuck out of here, bro. You can't be getting by. This was Xzibit at the peak of his fucking powers here. You know what I'm saying? Breaking that delivery, no time for chivalry. I knew exactly when I heard this shit. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. I was an Xzibit fan for 5 minutes.
I don't say 5 minutes.
Oh, it was 5 minutes. The only other Xzibit song I like was with the one video where he's like walking down the street and it's got like the opera beat.
Yeah.
Symphony in Major X?
Yeah.
That song's sick as hell.
You didn't like Get Your Walk On? Yeah, I could drink a whole Hennessy fifth.
No, I'm good.
Some call it a problem, but I call it a gift.
I'm good, man. He never did it much for me, man.
Really? So it's only Symphony. What about Multiply with Nate Dogg?
Oh, that was good. That was good.
What
that
about
was like 2 songs.
What about the Joan Carey Hilson? Mean Muggin'.
No.
Yeah, I hate that song. Yeah.
Xzibit like really embraced. I think Xzibit did the Warped Tour one year. I think Xzibit did a couple of rock tours. I think he went on tour with Limp Bizkit at one point.
Probably.
He was really, really tapped in with the rock shit. But again,
it was smart.
It was.
Because check this out. He wouldn't like. I don't mean this as a joke. I think he was great at hosting Pimp My Ride.
Yeah.
Like seminal show. Say what you will about it, but he wouldn't have had the clout that he had to get that gig if he hadn't been a crossover
rapper.
Yeah.
Sure.
The audience that he got from that followed him there.
Exactly.
And plus some. So this was kind of
and same thing with car culture, like that, like car shit has the like it has a certain type of black guy, a certain type of Latino guy, and a certain type of white guy, and it's like it flattens the races. It's car guys.
But again, this is Limp Bizkit's like we are cool, we're down with the blacks, and again, it's another example of like Fred not reaching across the bow and being disrespectful or really culture. Like I'll say this, like I never felt like what Fred Durst was doing was culture vulture-ish because he always showed love and he never tried to do more than what he was or be more than what he was. Like I think he used the Eminem method to success, and I think that worked. I think Eminem is the same way. Like I could never say that he did anything that was like outside of what he was raised as or what he was.
No, he was never like any complaint
except for
I have
that
about
time
him.
that Eminem was super gangster with 50. That was the time where I was just like, all right, nigga. Like,
And they were getting ready to battle Ja Rule, and he was
all
all
right,
throw hands.
this ain't you.
I feel like even on some songs he was like, oh, that was kind of crazy when that shit was going on.
Or he told them Benzino, put me one-on-one. See, I'm about to fuck you up.
Yeah, like, okay. Benzino would have choke slammed this motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here.
Am I thinking of fucking Mockingbird when he's talking about all this stuff?
Oh, yeah. When he was like,
we just inherited 50's beef for Murder Inc.
on like Toy Soldiers.
Yes.
Which was actually super crazy because, oh, man. Thinking of like Toy Soldiers video when Proof passed away. And in the video, I don't think he was dead yet until afterward that summer, which is kind of prophetic, kind of crazy. But I always assumed that before this listen that Eminem or Fred always had issues because I remember the line where he said, "I want to sit next to Carson Daly and Fred Durst. Hear him argue over who she gave head to first.
Yeah.
Little bitch put me on blast on MTV. But I guess it was more
cute, but I think he's married to Kim.
download the audio, MP3s for the whole world.
Well, Eminem, Eminem ended up dissing Fred on Girls on the D12 album.
Oh, okay.
He disses him on
album?
Girls, the first D12 album on Devil's Night, because with the beef with Everlast. Remember Everlast? Everlast was cool with DJ Lethal because of House of Pain.
Okay.
That's where Everlast came from or whatever. Fred Durst didn't pick a side. Like, Fred Durst didn't ride with Eminem on that beef. He kind of just stayed out of it, and that's where I guess where all of that shit came up in.
Yeah.
So that's where I don't think they've been cool since that shit, which is kind of crazy. Like, you guys are old as shit.
Yeah.
This is fucking years ago. Everlast.
Eminem was cool with ICP at this point.
Yeah, like
is he?
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
Which,
Wow. Another like they have their own world.
Yeah.
But it is adjacent to this, I would say.
I don't
it's
think
its own moon of the planet of nu metal.
Yeah,
I would say. I don't know. I couldn't know.
I had a friend that was into ICP.
Never was
and
that
he
guy.
knew all of the storylines and all of the White Lotus or the White what is it?
Shangri-La,
Dark Lotus,
yeah.
and Shangri-La and all this shit. Listen, it's deep.
I don't think life gets deep. I'm good.
It'd be a 3-hour throwblacks for us to even understand the book of the Juggalo, bro.
Oh, wow, Eminem and ICP are cool before 50 and Ja get cool. That's kind of good.
I think after that King Kniff skit, I could never be cool with you.
Yeah.
You call me blank too dope?
Effie too dope and violent. Effie too dope and violent gay is crazy. Effie too dope and violent gay.
The Ken Kniff character and surrounding skits have to be like that shit is crazier than anything on this album. Are you kidding me?
We would never be cool after Ken Kniff.
Actually, I would have laughed at violent gay. I wouldn't have been mad.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
Slim Anus, you're damn right, Slim Anus. I'll get fucked him up.
I'll get fucked that mind like you too.
I was at this Eminem Slim Shady LP, right?
It was Marshall Mathers.
Was really big, I think, when I was in
because the King Kniff was right before. Because I'm just
Marshall
Marshall Mathers. I'm just a regular guy. I don't know why so much fuss about me.
But Mark knows this. That song has my favorite ad lib in it, which is like, "Hey, I finally allowed to step foot in my girlfriend's house." Hey, it's the funniest line. Oh,
Eminem was hilarious, man.
I mean, even the fucking "Hi, I'm Versace." Whoops, somebody shot me. Is the craziest. I remember MTV brought that line up. They brought that line back like DJ Drama, bro. They brought that line back like crazy.
Well, the crazy thing is because I was so much younger than like at
who
the
the
time.
fuck is Versace?
I was like. That's a weird little thing. And then like later I was like, oh.
But you got to do the voice. Like the voice with it made it even more green.
Yeah.
Just checking the mail. Get it? Checking the mail.
Or the fucking skit on Criminal, like, don't kill anybody. Don't kill anybody.
Please don't kill me. Boom. Thank you. And he's running down the street. That's 25 years ago, man. I'm so old.
Hey, same year as this.
Yeah, exactly.
Same year as
bro.
this. But like,
Criminal had some of the best rapping of all time in the actual
Absolutely.
song.
I'll give him that. I'll give you that.
Absolutely.
I'll give you that. Because I'm a criminal. Speaking of Criminal, speaking of gleefully selling out, Take a Look Around, which was actually the first single from this, but it wasn't really the first single because we didn't know we were going to put it on the album till then. It was the theme from Mission Impossible 2, largely regarded as the worst Mission Impossible. But this song was all over the trailers.
It depends on who you ask.
It depends on who you ask. Could be the worst Mission Impossible. All the attention in the world today. All the little girls filling up the world today. What, the little girls?
I heard that and I was like, grab the steering wheel a little tighter. I was like,
huh? When the good comes to bad, the bad comes to good, but I'm gonna live my life like I should. Now the critics want to hit it. Your shit can how we did it, just because they don't get it. But I stay fitted, new era committed. But now this red cap gets a rap from these critics. But do we always gotta cry? Do we always gotta live inside a lie? Life's just a blast. It's moving really fast. You better stay on top or life will kick you in the ass. Follow me into a solo. Remember that, kid? So what you want to do? And where you gonna run when you stand at the cable of a fucking mic pointing at your grill like a gun? They had to cut out the fucking because it's on Mission Impossible. Did you guys know? We talked about this, right? That Kanye also did Mission Impossible 3.
It's with Twista, right?
And that was a way worse song than this.
I remember it came out and like for a long time, like this is so weird to think about, but like you would just find out new music was coming out because it was on the iTunes homepage.
Yeah.
And I was like, new Kanye song?
Yeah, because it was just impossible.
Yeah. I was like,
theme for Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah.
They don't play it at all in the movie until the end.
They don't play it at all in the movie?
It's in the credits.
I just remember them making a big deal about it, and I think it was 06 BET Awards when
Tom Cruise was there.
Came there.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise was there.
Doing the young jock. I
The
was
Tom
like, he's really pushing
Cruise
this
Mission
shit.
Impossible 3 run was him at his most unhinged.
Yeah, it was.
I would compare his press run to now to that, even though he's less unhinged.
It's good now.
It's good now.
Was
He
06
knows.
BET Awards before or after Oprah when he's on the couch?
Same
It was the
year.
same-
Same year?
Mhm. It was within that same year.
Wow.
The awards would have been in the fall, right?
Or like
Summer.
Summer.
like June, end of June.
It was. It could have been the same.
It would have.
fucking
It
week.
would have been.
must have been the same
He was
week.
going crazy, bro.
Yeah.
He was on his Mariah Carey shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
He was going crazy at
Yeah.
that point. Why you want to hate me? Because hate is all the world has even seen lately. I think your mileage may vary on this one.
This one, I was like, this song's stupid, but he's right.
Yeah. He could also be talking about the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true.
He also talking about-
or life today.
Yeah, life today. It could be anything. I get that this could be probably a skipper. I don't know why they put it on the album. It does not thematically fit with anything on there. It just seemed like they had nowhere else to put
the
it.
disc has 80 minutes on it, my brother.
We gotta put everything
Yeah,
on this
oh, yeah,
motherfucker.
oh, yeah.
But if I had to say, as much as I liked, and again, I like the interpolation of the Mission Impossible theme on it, especially the last minute where it's like it's just playing out. Like
Yeah.
that shit, that part's hard. It probably is a skip. It
Yeah.
probably just belongs where it was with the movie and not on this fucking album. Because now we're getting to like the end of it, and it's like y'all could have left this song.
Yeah,
We could have had a tight 14, and we would have
Yeah.
been fine. Because the song's already 5 minutes long. There's no reason for it to go any longer than that. And then we'll get into It'll Be Okay. This is another breakup song.
Yeah.
Another toxic relationship song. He was going through something at this point.
I mean, he's kind of emo.
yeah,
Like,
he's
not-
very much emo.
He's not like screaming, but he's like very like.
I
"Aw."
just read your letter. It says that you'll be gone for a while. Letter?
What?
Everything was getting better.
Yeah, it sounds like it wasn't.
I guess I'm just a fool strong. This must be post Nookie. This must be after she gave the next man the coochie.
Oh, the next day? Damn.
Yeah.
This next day. Shit.
What to do? My life is through. Just wanna kill myself for you. Now, killing yourself in songs, they don't do that no more.
No.
They
But
don't
it
play
used to
about
be
that.
Like, it used to be a staple.
Yes. I mean, Sean Kingston suicidal.
Yeah.
Niggas was killing themselves in songs.
Yeah. Now you can't kill yourself
Can't
on a
kill
song.
yourself,
Too
bruh.
woke.
You can't do this shit. Like, I think the last person that hated on something to kill themselves was Drake on For All the Dogs. When he says,
What'd he
and
say?
that's just so embarrassing. I want to die. Or fucking Paint a Picasso.
Oh, man, I'm gonna better than this. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the last time I heard somebody wanting to die over some cooch.
It's
was
also
that album.
it's also hilarious that like being like this emotional on this song kind of undercuts your bit on every other song on the album.
100%.
Like, no, stop it.
You're tough.
Yeah, you don't care about this.
You said you had a chainsaw. You'll cut a nigga's ass raw. It's like you said this.
You went on 3 dates with this woman.
If there's a better place you could take me, a better life you can give me, whatever place I could start all over, and I could never feel like this life is over is nuts. I love the breakdown though. In the middle where it's like, so I'm on my way.
But again, that's
I
like he's
lead
actual
to the-"
good like
yeah, like
musician.
he's
Yeah.
singing, and again. The rapping's he's more singing in the last half of this album than rapping. Like, did you guys notice like the drop off completely of all the rapping? Like, again, it's what nu metal was like really, really good for was that. And I think It'll Be Okay is yet another song that kind of shows them a lot of side of it. Like,
Yeah.
I love this song.
I think there couldn't have been like too much of it on the album. One, because they were trying to sell singles to like crazy guys, but also it's like, it is really good for breaking up some of the other stuff on the album. There could even be one of these songs earlier in the track list, but that first side is really impenetrable.
Well, I mean, again, it does fall off a bit, but again, your mileage may vary with some of these songs. Like take a look around. Like you could take it or leave it. Like it is a good song, but it's like it just doesn't fit.
Yeah, or like
here.
It's a good song, but guess what? It's surrounded by 3 great songs, so get rid of it. Like,
and then I mean we're getting to like the last half here, and we get to Boiler, which was the last single, last video. I think this got banned from MTV as well.
why?
Yes.
I think because of the
It's on Wikipedia. I'll look it up real quick. Keep
it's
going.
because I don't want to say it's because of some violent stuff on it.
Now, in the video or in the song?
In the video.
In the video. As I look it up here, the video was banned from MTV due to the scene where couples are having sex and the scene where Wes Borland's head falls off. However, the video still aired on various MTV channels, which aired the censored version. And this would be... Wow, 2 months before 9/11, July 10th.
So there's something so funny about someone's head falling off to me instead of like
Wes Borland in particular.
His head isn't chopped off. His head, like, it didn't get decapitated in a car accident. His head just kind of fell off.
This is a 7-minute ballad. I believe, I want to say, I heard that Swiss Beats has some co-production on this as well, which is kind of crazy as well because he does produce. I think it might have been the hidden song on the end of it, right before everything.
Gotta love the old hidden track.
The hidden track.
Good times.
Looks like I'm going to do everything myself. Maybe I could use some help. But hell, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. That is Eric B, LL Cool J, 100%. Like, he is like on his old school rapping here. And I think this is probably some of the best rap stuff he does here. Chorus is fucking tastic.
It is when he's good at doing like boom bap style rapping over these not quite boom bap beats.
But then I got to point out the groaner. You know what it is. Maybe life is up and down, but my life's been what till now? I crawled up your butt somehow. And that's when shit got turned around. Like,
just tweak one line.
That's all. Or just cut it. You don't need the 16. Like you don't need the 16 bars.
Yeah.
It's not like anyone's holding you to some MC level where you're like Jay-Z. Just cut it out, man.
This is like, that's one of those lines where I'm like, why did you just change the one thing? Change one little line.
Yeah.
It's like when Wayne says, he like names all the seasons, and then he says, I'm being hated by the seasons. And I'm like, you're being hated like it's in season. The seasons aren't hated. They don't hate. Just tweak it a little bit.
Another crazy Lil Wayne line is, you homo niggas getting A's in the ass.
I forgot about that.
Crazy line,
21 years old. What was the censored version? I don't even remember the censored version was, the one that they would play on BT. Damn, I'm trying to think how they censored it.
Some of that's, and there's the Eminem had lines like that too,
100%.
where it was like, this is insane, man.
I'm like, how you put that in one of your biggest songs? Go ahead, bro. Like, why you put that there? It also had nothing to do with the next line after. Like, it was just so strange.
You know, it's hard to say but and like sound serious. Like, if you could have found a way
everything
to
about
say
it was just discriminatory. You just had to cut the whole thing out.
While the homie here trying to get paid in advance, I'm steady on my grizzly, I'm a bona fide hustler.
Boiler's, I think, one of my top 5 songs on the album.
This is a really good song.
I really love this song. And then it leads us into Hold On, which is the Scott Weiland crooning. What is your thoughts going to Hold On, Mark? Where it's just like, okay, is this a completely different album? Now, I had the leaked version of this, and my friend actually burned it for me. So all the songs were out of order. Because remember, back in the day, depending on what the songs were tagged
you never
as,
knew what you got.
They'd be number one. This ended up being the first song on the album for me instead of the intro.
Yeah.
Intro was like number 5.
I love that shit, man. I love
all
that.
Out of order for this, but like this was the first song of this album I ever heard.
Wow.
But what was your thoughts when you got to song 15?
I just like hearing these type of records where it's like very, very close to predating what we're going to get pretty soon from like acts like Good Charlotte. We brought up All American Rejects. My Chemical Romance is on the way 3 years. Newfound Glory is on the way in the next year.
It's funny. Like, My Chemical Romance kind of comes a little bit after this.
Yeah.
But then all that other stuff comes
it's
out.
a deluge. Because
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. We haven't talked about him before. We haven't mentioned him before. Fall Out Boy kind of.
So it's not as pop punky, but I like hearing like what predated that era of like that Fall Out Boy era coming in from there. So as much as people probably was like, oh my God, it's one of the worst songs on the album, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Who said that? That's fucking great. Scott Weiland, again, one of the greatest crooners of all time. Rest in peace to Scott Weiland. He passed in 2015. I'm glad that Limp Bizkit was able to give him his flowers.
Yeah.
Because Stone Temple Pilots was definitely kind of like not in vogue at the time. And Scott had his own issues with substance abuse and things like that. And it was cool to kind of hear him one more time again on this.
Yeah.
I like the song as well. I think, again, the album's starting to slow it, like mellow out, and then
I also like I complain about and make fun of like how they're like, how are we gonna fill this 80 fucking minutes, man? We gotta fill the whole CD. But like sometimes it does just lead to like interesting stuff that like wouldn't have happened otherwise. And like this song is one of those things.
Nobody takes risks like this anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that even some of my favorite artists, like I know Young Thug's not taking a risk on this new album.
Yeah.
I know he's not. I know Future's not going to take a risk.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be the same thing. Like Limp Bizkit is going to take a risk.
Yeah.
And it's like that was some of the stuff that we like kind of look forward to. Even to some extent, like Jay-Z took risks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On certain albums that he had. But then you get to Limp Bizkit's Rollin remix, Urban Assault Vehicle. Okay?
No, isn't this Aerial Assault Vehicle?
Aerial was the first one.
Okay.
This was Urban
Okay.
because it's had blacks on it.
Oh, okay, good. Yes.
Featuring Method Man, Redman, and DMX.
Yeah.
White people love Redman.
Yeah, and they love DMX.
And they love DMX.
They love Method Man as an actor.
Method Man, yeah, a great white
Yeah.
rap trio right there.
Funniest part of the song is DMX screaming in the background. Are you ready? Ah!
And then also the number of times everybody says each other's names on this song is
Limp
really
Bizkit,
high.
DMX, Redman, that's right, y'all. Method Man, we just keep rolling, baby.
I remember I was watching a little bit of the Playboy Mansion party, and he was like, "Yeah, I would love to be able to play all four of us just do this remix at one show together." I don't know if they ever did.
I don't think they ever did.
Wow,
I don't think they ever did. This is a great fucking remix. This one is when remixes were remixes.
Yeah.
This was a remixes were remixes,
Yep.
and it mattered, and it was a completely different song than what you heard before. And Fred Durst switched up the lyrics to the song, and it was actually better. Like, it's actually a better verse than you put on this song. And then it's like, you actually hear the N-word on the song. And they kept it in. It's like, it's great.
There were some white guys who were like,
yes. They hit the Drewski. They hit the Drewski. They hit the Drewski. Yes. They hit the Drewski.
What's it the emoji that
Yep.
They hit the Drewski, put the finger up to the mouth, bro. But again, DMX was kind of like the whisperer for and the gateway for black people to get into this. DMX would play rock shows. Mm-hmm. He'd open for rock bands.
Yeah.
He would team up with rock bands. And again, there was a synergy with rap and rock at the time that we just don't see today.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people get annoyed when you see a Lil Durk hanging out with a Morgan Wallen and stuff like that. And I think a lot of that is steeped in. That's
more because of Morgan specifically.
It's more because of that. But it's like, even back in the day, we all knew Fred Durst was a douche, but him hanging out with that wasn't like, we don't get stuff like that often. So when we do, like, we should kind of celebrate when it happens instead of being like, oh, he did this. It's like,
I much prefer Lil Durk hanging out with Morgan Wallen than fucking
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, Tom Segura being at WWE.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I would much rather that type of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think again, this was groundbreaking at the time,
and it proved something that like is true. Like being a rock star has nothing to do with what genre you are in.
Yeah.
Like DMX is a rock star.
Yep.
Lady Gaga is a rock star. Like Drake is a rock star. Like it is not like, and these guys knew that.
Yep. And they weren't afraid of that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's it's very much them understanding, and again, Fred Durst respecting who was hot at the time, respecting the people that he loved listening to and putting them on the album and letting them go. He's only on the chorus in that first little 12 bars, and you could tell he's just sitting back like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This is amazing. Like, I never believed that I could do this, and that's mostly because he was the senior VP of Arts Relations at Interscope, so he probably could put this together. But again,
but
really
even
cool.
that is like, that's crazy.
And it's also a Swiss Beats beat in his discography that a lot of people might not have known.
Yeah,
They
I
might not
didn't know that until you just said that.
Yeah, like it was him, and he would work with Limp Bizkit again on their remix album. So new old song, terrible album. No, let's do it. And then we get to the outro with Ben Stiller just a riffing.
I mean, he
just a riffing.
Again, he was very you're a musician. You ask Ben Stiller to show up and riff, he'll do it. What music video, outro, he didn't care.
So then we have Stephen Jenkins after leaving a voicemail. Then you have Rob Dyrdek leaving a voicemail as well, which is insane.
Rob is so old, man.
I know.
He's like he's an OG, but like, fuck.
Then you have Mark Wahlberg ending the album.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg just a few years off of
brutally assaulting
a
an
hate
Asian
crime.
person. Yeah, brutally assaulting an Asian person. And
an elderly man. A fucking elderly man.
And then it's the end of Chocolate Starfish in the hot dog flavored water. First week, it would go on to sell 1.5 million copies in the first week.
1.5?
At the time, this was the fastest selling rock album ever in the United States. Of course, it debuted at number 1. It has sold over 8 million copies since then.
The diamond is
on the
within
way,
in
on the
view.
way. It is honestly, they need to recheck their certifications, especially with streaming, especially with the way I was streaming. It's probably over 9 at this point.
Yeah.
It's probably close to diamond. It will probably
Also,
be
you know
diamond.
what? The way that some of these that I think I hate on TikTok as much as the next person or not, whatever. But the way that it gets artists like juice on old songs is the coolest fucking thing in the world, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're some guy who put out an album at one time in the 90s and you're all of a sudden making like a bunch of royalty checks. Like,
because some 14-year-old
it's
hit
so
the folk
sick,
to it
man.
because
That's
some 14-year-old
sick.
found Rollin. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then they decided to make a song, a TikTok out of Rollin. But this is one of the highest selling, best selling rock albums of all time. Put some fucking respect on their name. This was their magnum opus. In my opinion, this was their best album. Going back to it, I loved every second of it. This takes you back to a time that we're just not in right now.
No, it is a true, like, it feels like hopping into a time machine. It is a blast, but it also feels like, I mean, the production on it is, some of it's like some of the lyrics is a little bit of a clunker.
Yeah.
But I love the scratching on this album.
Yeah.
I love a lot of the breakdowns on it, like I said, and it is the new metal album.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think with Korn, Follow the Leader is a seminal album, a seminal rock album.
Yeah.
This is the seminal new metal album because Korn didn't really want to be rap rock. That's
No,
not really what they were.
And they were tangential.
Yeah,
certainly.
they're close. Yeah, they're involved directly in the creation of bands like Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt about it. But Limp Bizkit was the new metal album, and they stand next to Korn in being the grandfathers of that.
Yeah.
And I think that again, we look at them being cringe or whatever, but you look back on this album and it's actually really, really fucking good.
Yeah.
And I think for the time, they were lightning rods for controversy and lightning rods for cringe shit.
Even that seems tame now.
It's compared to what we have today,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's not
like,
even close.
Really, like, a lot of what they're doing, like, a lot of it is like really like so much of listening to this album reminded me of those like mid 90s Biohazard albums. Like, it has such a like hip hop hardcore punk, like, even without the goofy, not goofy, the like the Durstness, like that's even without that stuff, it has that other stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
And again, like you've said 100 times about this episode, he knows his shit.
Yeah, he knows it. He knows it's shitty. He knows it's a clunker, but he knows it's gonna work because of the branding, because of everything that goes along with it. Limp Bizkit, they might suck. They might suck. They might not be the greatest band ever, but they're the band that made this fucking album, and that makes them one of the greatest bands ever.
Yeah,
whether you like it or not. It is probably, to me, one of the rock albums that you probably should listen to. You have to listen to this album because of what it is and what it represents. One of my favorite albums of all time, and this is one of my favorite throwblocks of all time. So let's clap it up for ourselves.
Yeah, this was awesome. What a clinic on late 90s, 2000s guys.
Man. We killed it.
Really beautiful.
I loved it. Mark, how'd you feel about the album?
I feel good. I feel like compared to, I did want to ask a question. You guys brought it up very, very earlier in the episode. Where do you see Limp Bizkit in acts like what we have today, as far as acts that are bringing rock back, like Sleep Token?
They're not close.
No,
it's not close. I think Limp Bizkit is probably more rock than Sleep Token is. I mentioned the past.
Well, I would say just I don't care, but look carefully, like the type of rock that it is. Like Limp Bizkit is Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
Lamp.
It could have been one of their names.
Lamp Basket. Lamp Basket is way more metal than like Sleep Token.
Yeah, Sleep Token,
like,
to me, and I don't know if you heard them, Mark, they're more really like Imagine Dragons type. When you listen to their album, there's very little metal in it. Like it's very. I was confused. Like I was legit confused because I was expecting to hear.
They're
some
one
heavy
of the
shit.
biggest. Like, and again, I've really gotten into this scene, like metal and hardcore scene, in the last 5 years or so. And like you have like hipster metal acts like Death Heaven that are like incredible, but they're never going to play a place that's bigger than the Palladium or somewhere like 4,000. But then you have like bands like a band I love called Ghost and a band called Sleep Token that are like. Sleep Token's even bigger than Ghost, but they sell out arenas around the world. Like Sleep Token sold out 2 or 3 days at Wembley last year or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like they're big.
They're huge.
But they're like
They're from the UK though, so
yeah,
that's
Ghost,
I didn't know that. Okay.
Ghost gets a rap for not being metal, and they are more of like an arena rock act with metal riffs. But Sleep Token is not metal at all.
If I had to compare it,
And I don't care about classifying genre shit.
I don't either.
They're not.
But
they're
so,
not a metal band.
Yeah, they're so.
They are like Imagine Dragons to me.
They are.
Like, I don't get it.
But it's also R&B. But it's also like rap too. But it's also like, but it's like current type rap.
But
like
it's not like any of it enough.
Yeah,
like
for you, it's not any of it enough for you to actually put them in a box. And it's like to some people that's an advantage, but to other people it's confusing because like I don't consider them a rock band.
Yeah. I think you have to be like in some kind of a box before you do that stuff. Like
and I don't. And the thing is, that doesn't mean I didn't like the album is getting crushed. Like the reviews are awful for this album, which I get because traditional rock outlets are like, this is not what
they
it is.
They don't like it.
Yeah,
They're like, this is kind of it's you know what it is? It's like it's the effect that we talk about in and Sinners is a better movie than Sleep Token is a rock act.
Yeah.
But it Sleep Token is like if you don't actually listen to any of that shit, this is the band for you.
It's horror in the same way that Megan was horror. That's what Sleep Token is.
Yeah,
like
but Megan's fun at least. Like like it's like it's just if you want to see all this shit, but you don't actually want to. Here, come see Sleep Token.
And I think the big difference is, Mark, to your question again, is that like whereas Limp Bizkit does have rap elements, it's still hard. It's not just rap beats. There is a song called like what's it called on the Sleep Token album that's just it's straight up. There's no guitar on it at all. Like it's I was like, bro, I like it, but this is an R&B song. This isn't like a fucking.
So it's like acoustic almost.
It's called Past Self on the new album.
Oh yeah, I know that song. Yeah.
It's literally just you know what I'm talking. Like it's like it's a synth throughout the whole thing. It's not and 808s
and not like there's like areas of metal that are like goth synthy kind of stuff, and it's not like that
there's
at all.
no guitar on this song at all. And it's not this. And I hate to say this because like I'm not like an expert on the subject, but it's like not to say that it's metal. Well, it has to be metal because like metal has guitars in it.
It didn't.
So it's not metal.
It wasn't what you were looking for.
No, I was legitimately confused. Like that first song had me like. Okay, like I had no clue. It reminds me more of like Tool, where it's like prog rock, but like or Coheed and Cambria or something like that. Where it's like prog rock, where it's like more kind of like 7-minute song, 8-minute song.
Yeah.
But they take elements of that too. But it's also like trap stuff in it. They have like
there's Migos flow on this.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm telling you, like it's literally that he's rapping triplets. Like I don't consider it rock, but I just don't know really what it is.
Yeah. Which on one hand, cool.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I just don't like it that much.
Bizkit is firmly metal, firmly rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's firmly that.
Or like you have an act today like Turnstile.
Yeah.
Who like their first two albums like just classic hardcore albums. Like most of the guys were in Trapped Under Ice, then they're in Turnstile, but now they're one of the biggest. Like the last time they were in town, they played the Palladium. Then I'm sure the next time for this album, they're going to be at like the Forum. So they've gone huge. They tour around the world, but unlike Sleep Token, and they're not a metal act, they're a hardcore act, but they do like. There's a pit at a Turnstile show. Like, there is like
I don't see how there could be a pit at a Sleep Token show.
Yeah.
Are y'all hugging? Like there's
I don't know.
There's
But,
nothing
like,
going on in these songs that make you want to punch somebody in the face.
And then
I
I
don't know.
guess that the difference is like while there is like this, it's funny. Like Turnstile is one of the bigger like hardcore or metal bands since nu metal was popular, really, and they still are like now it's like there's too much shoegaze in this. There's too much like atmospheric breakdown in this. They're not hardcore enough anymore. And it's like
even to that point, Sleep Token's got a lot of gent like influence in it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this ain't rock. This is like the trap elements that came up in the mid 2010s that I was kind of like, I don't really want to listen to rock anymore.
It feels like it feels like almost something that like Nerd would have put out.
Yeah.
But not like in the good way.
But this isn't to dissuade you from listening to it, Mark, because I still think that you should like check it out.
It's one of the biggest albums on the planet.
It's literally one of the biggest albums in the world
crazy.
right now.
Okay.
It's like I don't even think it fell off the charts much this week, but it was number one with like 150K or something.
Wow.
First week. Like one of the biggest debuts of rock. And it's probably still going to stay that way this year. And I think the only people that still put up numbers like that is like Korn. And that's it. You know what I mean? Because of their fan base. But that was
Korn really does still have it in terms of like
they evolve every single time.
Yeah.
They do something different every single time. But
tour's still going so strong. We're gonna go. We're gonna go.
I want to go. But that was our dissertation on rock. That was our conversation about Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water. Thank you guys for listening. Next month, I don't know yet. I'll know by next week when we do Black Print.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I'll know, or when we do Don't Steal This Podcast. I'll know by then.
A nice summer album.
I'll figure it out. I think I got an idea.
Okay.
So I'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. So thank you guys for listening. Let us know if you guys want us to do more rock stuff. I know a lot about rock.
Yeah.
You know
This
what I'm saying?
is a blast.
This was cool.
Yeah, I don't usually get this. We got really inside baseball on some of this. I love this.
But that's what ThrowBLKs is. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Pafi, for joining us on this episode.
Of course.
And yeah, go check out Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water and get back with us. Let us know your favorite songs on YouTube in the comments. Let us know on the Patreon. Let us know how you guys are feeling about it. And we'll see you guys in a couple of days, really, for the next Don't Steal This Podcast. So for Pafif and MC, I'm J5. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.